the essence of shamatha. Vipassana, based on shamatha, eradicates kileshas, obscurations of consciousness. Knowing this, first aspired to shamatha. Shantideva, Bodhicharya Avatara, 8.4. A mind of shamatha is the gateway for all good qualities, such as heightened levels of extrasensory awareness and extra-physical abilities, and all the various absorbed concentrations included as modest or vast vehicles of mind. Even more importantly, such a mind is the basis for attaining to the Araya pathways of mind of the three vehicles, the noble paths having straightforward, non-conceptual perception of voidness. The ethical status of a mind of shamatha, however, is unspecified, neither constructive nor destructive, although it lies as the common, shared basis for all inner and outer good qualities, without being inspiring or uplifting in and of itself by nature, yet because it is the basis upon which rely so many good qualities, both mundane and transcendent, and from which they are actualized, a mind of shamatha is extremely important and valuable. The Dalai Lama, the Gelag/Kagyu tradition of Maya Mudra. Many Western authors of books on yoga and meditation embark on all sorts of detailed psychological and even psychotherapeutic digressions on how to deal with negative emotions, negative thoughts, etc. Eastern meditation is not about that. Samadhi/shamatha meditation, if performed correctly, is in itself a powerful mind-transforming psychotechnique, albeit indirectly, but in the most reliable way in the long term. While psychotherapeutic approaches only try to temporarily redistribute the available psychological resources and energy without increasing their total amount, the practice of shamatha leads precisely to their increase, and, moreover, a very significant one, provided that regular practice is continued. The sole task of the meditator is to follow the prescriptions for achieving shamatha. This refers to the elimination of distractions of the mind, that is, the cessation of thoughts, and to the maintenance of clarity, collectedness, of mind, that is, the avoidance of sinking of the mind, pre-drowsy loss of collectedness of the mind. Everything else during meditation, even the right thoughts, is just another distraction of the mind that hinders the practice. Compared to simple state of absence of thoughts, shamatha requires a certain additional conscious effort to maintain an even higher quality state of silence, without thoughts at all, and clarity, collectedness, of mind. At the same time, many meditators stop at the stage of simple absence of thoughts, contented with relaxed contemplation, a simple looking, and therefore do not receive the fruits of samadhi/shamatha meditation. The need for such an additional conscious effort becomes apparent when using the Ayurveda set for groping the state of meditation and assess your current maximum duration of stay in the state of meditation. But more about this is discussed in Chapter 4 of my book Meditation in Raja Yoga, Buddhism and Neurophysiology, a practical guide. In the section Samadhi is a state of collectedness of a clear silent mind, and not of gross concentration of subchapter 2.2 Samadhi in Raja Yoga. It has already been explained that the word collectedness better conveys the essence of Samadhi than concentration. In Buddhism, if object for meditation is used, the importance of keeping the image of the object with all its details in mind with the utmost clarity during shamatha practice is constantly and steadily emphasized. In the practice of objectless shamatha meditation, the importance of maintaining state of mind with the utmost clarity, that is collected, is emphasized. Samdhong Rinpoche says this: we cannot concentrate our whole mind on an outer object, and so we create a mental picture. After the creation of this mental picture, the movement of thought ceases. Now, in the ordinary process, once the movement of thought ceases, the picture also disappears because the picture is thought. However, when we focus on the picture through meditative concentration, with the fullness of our mind, it involves the totality of the mind, and this is not of the nature of thought. It is the clarity of the mind which holds the picture. In other words, when we are able to hold a picture with the totality of our mind, the picture is not thought. It is mind. The mind is not thought at that moment. It is this Buddhist exercise of holding without thoughts the mental image in all its details with maximum clarity and accuracy that allows Mahayana Buddhists, without the use of any devices, including kasinas and even Ayurveda sets, to achieve that very state of collectedness, non-sinking, of the silent mind, that is, being in a state of shamatha. It is accompanied by a strong dominance of the alpha rhythm over any other brain rhythms, which is shown by the studies of neurophysiologists, more details in the 4th chapter. Such a state of clear collectedness without thoughts, that is, shamatha, is fundamentally different from simple looking at an image or statue of a deity, as well as any yantra or geometric figure, even if there is no thoughts. The importance of this exercise, the careful visualization of the bright mental image in all its details without thoughts, as a prescription for entering the state of shamatha, accessible without any technical means and devices, is difficult to overestimate. This exercise has allowed generations of Buddhists to pass on the reliable possibility of entering the state of shamatha in simple words. It is the Buddhist shamatha with its 8 to 9 dhyana steps, corresponding to the 8th step of the Buddhist Noble Eightfold Path, right samadhi, samyak samadhi, along with the yogic samadhi of Yoga Sutras, is what should be called meditation itself in the generalized sense that is put into it in the West. A psychotechnique that causes an accelerated transformative development of consciousness. It is samadhi that is the last 8th stage of both the Eightfold Yoga of Patanjali and the Noble Eightfold Path of Buddhism. The difference between the extremely brief description of the state of samadhi by Patanjali and such a detailed description of the 8 to 9 dhyanas of shamatha in Buddhism has both its pluses and minuses. On the one hand, a more detailed description of shamatha in Buddhism gives a chance to better understand the essence of the successive stages of this key psychotechnique of self-development. On the other hand, a detailed description of these states could not help but be distorted over the past 2.5 millennia by followers, who did not always understand the essence of these prescriptions well due to the frequent lack of personal practice, especially with the proper quality and regularity, and therefore gradually distorted them, reducing and simplify to their level of understanding. Moreover, the number of disputes about the features of dhyanas of Buddhism, especially the first one, taking into account the obvious distortion of the original meanings of the words vitakka and vichara, is almost endless, and these mental disputes often obscure the actual practice of shamatha, not to mention the fact that erroneous interpretations of the Buddha's teachings lead astray even those who are ready to meditate regularly. The absence of new arhats indirectly confirms this. American author and expert on Tibetan Buddhism Alan Wallace speaks of trained shamatha as lasting 4 hours continuously. And although this duration is somewhat different from the generally accepted duration in Buddhist scriptures of a quarter of a day, that is, 3 hours, not 4, this difference is insignificant in this case. If someone still manages to train a 3-hour shamatha, then reaching its 4-hour duration will be incomparably easier than bringing its duration to 3 hours from scratch. In addition, the very fact of achieving such a duration of shamatha for the first time is not yet everything, since then it is necessary to practice many hours of shamatha daily until this energy practice eliminates negative karma and develops new incredibly perceptive, Vijnanamaya kosha/buddhi, and incredibly powerful, Anandamaya kosha/sambhogakaya, cognitive tools that will lead to yogic realization and consciousness of a Buddha. Awaken 1. Depending on the initial situation and the quality of practice, this may take only 6 months, or it may stretch for decades. Shamatha is our meditative everything. You can learn more about real meditation practice in Raja Yoga and Buddhism from my book Meditation in Raja Yoga, Buddhism and Neurophysiology, a practical guide.